baby. Come here, baby. Up here. Come here. Up. This is how we ride the bus. Ride the bus, ride the bus. This is how we ride the bus when other people are looking. And then how do we ride when people are looking? Oh, she's 30 pounds. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, kisses. Oh, kisses. She was napping. Let's see. She doesn't like to be held. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. She'd probably jump on my face and then like jump off the chair. She's really heavy. She's like 30 pounds. Oh. And I wanted to flip her over. Okay, let's see. Flip you on your back. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Alright. Oh. Ah, look. She's very washed and bright and beautiful. Say hello. Hello, beautiful Satori-chan. Aloha. It's my shirt. Aloha. Aloha. We're celebrating because I just submitted my big ask to bring Satori-chan to school. She of course has no idea, you know, but she'll be really happy because I've been leaving her at home for 4 hours at a time, which is big for both of us, but I live a bike ride 7 minutes away from this bedroom, but it's still not enough time. So I like bike my ass to school, do my thing at school, and then come back during lunch, which is only 30 minutes. Like, that's why full-time jobs are a challenge for me, period. Even if I did have a job, a 30-minute lunch is like, are you serious? You know? It takes me 30 minutes to decide what I want to eat. So, I've never really fit into full-time work, and that is, you know, the mental illness, I guess, if I want to, like, see it as that. But that's the life activity that the PTSD, CPTSD gets in the way of. I mean, believe it or not, it makes it difficult for me to perform, you know, and then I get shame that I can't perform, so I just do stuff in little spurts. And I make sure that I set myself up for success, but I've just, you know, maybe set the bar a little low, and I'm now ready to try things a different way. And so what I'm asking is to bring Satori, my, she's a service dog in training, but service dogs in Hawaii, as you saw in my other video, they are 1 year old. She has 4 months. And she is a little bit like still in training for sure. She took a shit at the airport. Okay, heavy girl, I'm gonna take you down. She hates being held anyway. You hate being held, huh? Up, hug. Up, hug. I got this new thing where I'm like playing, you know, tackle with this big bed. She's gotten really big after her first heat. Like, like, I'm serious. That's why I don't want to spay her, because they grow after they menstruate. It's a known fact that they need their periods to grow. But there's other things that happen, other complications. So as of now, she is intact and is going to remain intact. But it was annoying to have to deal with that shit. But this video is about congratulating myself that I completed and submitted a request for reasonable accommodations, and I stayed totally on the topic, and I didn't get too emotional, and I didn't self-sabotage and procrastinate. I just did it, and then I wrote a really good, I think it's good, but you know, I'm mentally ill, so I always think my shit is good. But I stayed like, so you basically want to make it really easy by saying what is it that you need and why, and just really build the case like that. What are your reasonable accommodations? I am requesting permission to bring my ESA in classrooms and begin training her as a service dog who can be in service to my disability in school environments. Pretty clear, right? I want to bring my dog to school. And then my justification. I believe, based on my experience as a teacher in Los Angeles, that there is about a 50% chance that a verbal or physical altercation could occur somewhere on campus at a normal capacity on any given normal day. Even worse, however, minimum of a possibility, a school shooting or another gun violence is not out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, I'm not that worried about that. I'm more worried about more relational violence, interpersonal violence that happens with young adults, and that happens on a 50% basis. Because there's so many students and you're interacting basically with so many different upbringings and different attitudes and stuff, and it can be triggering for sure. So my emotional service dog, aka emotional support animal, service dog in training, and then I said 8 months old, has been an essential part of my healthy coping mechanisms toolkit for my CPTSD, PTSD, anxiety, panic, and depression. And I'm using their language, coping mechanisms toolkit, because people with ADHD, people who have autism, they have coping mechanisms. They get to listen to music and talk and stuff like that to people on the phone as a coping mechanism for their autism. Regularly walking, training, and having her with me all day has definitely decreased my trauma responses in the 4 months that I've had her. She is trained in basic obedience, knows 43 words, and has accompanied me as a service dog in training in many public spaces in Oahu. It is necessary for me to have this reasonable accommodation because using healthy coping mechanisms helps to significantly decrease trauma responses from even occurring. 4 trauma responses are fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. The first 2 are typical of PTSD, and the last 2 are typical of CPTSD. I have both. Extended freeze states, running from or fleeing a task, getting derailed by perfectionism, dissociation, memory loss, suddenly falling asleep, subconscious trance, self-sabotage, overcommitting to save face, overworking and neglecting self-care needs, disproportionate emotionality, and most devastating, which happened in October of 2019. I was unable to work for 3 weeks because I had acute stress disorder, or a somatization of my full body where I couldn't really move. I was exhausted. I almost got into a car accident, and my property manager was harassing me. So it causes actual physical disability if the fight flight is allowed to continue to stack, is the best way that I can explain it. So I'm asking for reasonable accommodations to bring my dog to school, and I think it would be, and I'm keeping all of my opinion about how great I think it will be for the kids and blah, blah, blah. That's not what this is about. So I've learned in this process through adulting, not being because in a lot of ways I'm a child, right? I'm learned helplessness. I am the sacrificial lamb, I'm used to running around with my hair on fire. And so trying to not do that and ask for, and also detailing all of my deficiencies is difficult. And then I'm thinking, as I was typing out this it's not like just my first year of teaching. My student teaching was difficult. My teaching in Japan was difficult. I was having CPTSD meltdowns all the time. I was late. I was lost. I was crying all the time. I tried to ask for accommodations. Like, I asked one of my coworkers to text me to make sure that I was leaving on time. I would forget the schedule of classes that I had been teaching for a while. This has been going on for me for a long time, and it's the first time that I've actually documented an ask. It's the first time I've been medicated. It's the first time that I've used a dog to try and regulate my deregulations, and it seems to be working really well. So, and then I keep out, all of my ulterior motives of, also making her a therapy dog for kids in school, and that we need this. You should see how the morale of these students, like, trying to study on their laptops. They come to campus and they sit on their laptops, and if they are in laptop class, they keep their camera off. There's like no connection. It's not like adults zooming each other and laughing and stuff. Nobody even probably pays attention. It's really disconnected and unfortunate. I'd be surprised to hear if anybody thought it was great who was a student at this moment. I haven't seen like that positive of a morale. A little bit, I would choose to talk. I don't know. I was a loner in high school. High school was a traumatic time. I didn't, I'd pushed that down for a long time, and I guess that's why I always was gravitated to be a high school teacher, because I wanted to do it over, but I didn't realize that the doing over was going to be so traumatic. Oh, I just got scared there. Look, I wasn't recording. I am tired now. I'm going to lay down and watch me some, what the fuck is his name? I keep wanting to say Oscar Grant. George Floyd trial. Fall asleep to some George Floyd trial. I was getting upset yesterday because they were really painting it out to be like this one bad apple guy, which they always do when there's these like racial fucking killings. But it really looks like the Minneapolis Police Department is A-okay. They do everything right. There's just this one bad apple. Anyway, so I have my reasonable accommodations letter. I have made them an offer they can't refuse, Like, I mean, I had to get really real with myself and real honest with myself to make this list. I feel really proud of myself that I was even able to get through all these steps first off and hit the send button. And it has everything to do with being medicated. It has everything to do with reading the Pete Walker's book, CPTSD, Surviving and Thriving, because I know what the fight, flight, and then everybody knows about fight or flight, that's PTSD, but freeze and fawn are things that I constantly go through as a teacher, as a worker. Freeze and fawn. I freeze, and then sometimes my comprehension of things is retarded, I guess, or I don't know how to put it. My sisters called me retarded, so that's what comes up. I'm sorry if people get offended by that language, but like, it takes me a long time to do stuff and understand certain tasks, and people who have to supervise me get very frustrated at me, and then they think I'm like really dumb, and so that makes me feel really bad. And so that's why I choose to work alone, and I've always been an independent contractor. You'd understand that, right? Because it's like, I know that I'm a really capable and smart person, but yet working with people tends to frustrate people. Or I have antisocial freaking like outbursts, or I have antisocial comments because I wasn't really surrounded by people growing up. I didn't have a team. I don't really know what a functional family family or sisterhood looks like. So sometimes I can screw that up. That's why my dog has really taught me a lot of relational skills, because I have to advocate for my dog. I have to get along with people. It forces me into the limelight. Like, I talked to someone today about, like, because he was like, his dog was, he lives in our apartment complex, and he's a cool guy, but his dog is like trying to bite my dog every time we walk past. And he's done it several times, and I think it's the dog owner's responsibility to make sure that their dogs don't bite people or other dogs. And I was talking to him about that, and it's like, I don't ever rarely go talk to people, you know, that's like, it has to be really bad. I have to feel really like confident in my ability to be an authority, or be, and that's what it's required to be a teacher, and to be to raise a dog and to train a dog that will listen to you. And I love my dog so much. Oh, I love my dog so much. I love my baby girl. I love my dog so much. Look how happy she is. She just took a shit on the sidewalk at the airport. And I know that she's not supposed to do that, but that's why she's a service dog in training, because she's not perfect. And there's a lot of things that she's not ready for, but I'm only able to experiment with that by being with her and training. We're training each other. It's a learning process together. You cannot expect dogs to understand and pass the standards of an environment until they've been in that environment. So I have all my paperwork, and I'm asking, it'll probably take 2 months or 1 month, and I will keep you posted.